Marketing and manufacturing for machine shops and fab shops is boring, but it doesn't have to be. My guest today is Emily Wilkins from Marketing Metal, and we're going to dig into it. Welcome to Machine Shop Tech Talk, where I interview world leaders in manufacturing that are out there solving the problems that are keeping you behind. Today, Emily, I'm so glad you're here so we can help these people understand their marketing doesn't have to suck.
Yeah. Music to my ears. Thank you so much
Awesome.
for having me.
Yeah, I'm glad you're here. I know we've had a few great chats, and anyway, we got to keep focused. We got to keep focused for the people out there. We want to solve their problems. Um, so when we're talking about the marketing that's boring, right? We were talking before we hit record. I was in distribution. I used to look up these machine shops. Most of them don't have websites, or they're from the 90s from their uncle's niece's nephew's cousin, and they're just absolutely terrible. How are you solving this problem with Marketing Metal? Like, I love seeing you grow. You're hugely successful. So what's making that happen?
A few things specifically for my success has been that I know these shops. I spent a lot of time in shops like these in my early career. I have a lot of family history there as well. Um, so I can speak their language. I understand what works for them and what doesn't because I was that internal marketing person that was
Mhm.
responsible for helping the sales team get leads and helping them close deals and all of that. I speak their language, and I also spent enough time in small agencies to recognize that the process that they were using and the approach that they were using doesn't work for small shops. There are lots of ways to market your business, right? And a lot of the marketing advice that's out there is really more for larger companies that have full marketing departments and budgets, and these small shops don't have that. So they really need to take a different approach. I actually was at the FMA, the Fabricators and Manufacturers Association, a couple weeks ago, giving my signature talk, "Marketing Doesn't Have to Suck," and had I think two different people in the audience come up to me afterward and say, "I love what you had to say, but this would never fly for my company. Like I could never get my company to approach marketing this way." It's like, yeah, because you work for a huge corporation that, the people that are making decisions are on the other side of the pond, and you have, your hands are tied behind your back. So, but they also have budget to just throw their logo on every industry event, and
Mm.
they can get these big sponsorships and spend a bunch of money in ads and have tons of white papers and all of this, content developed around their products, where job shops don't have that bandwidth and they don't have that budget to be able to do any of that. So it's just two completely different types of businesses that need two completely different approaches.
And I'm getting a clear picture now. What's making you successful? Because I mean, could you imagine the average machine shop trying to attack marketing the same way as like a massive OEM does?
No.
Because those massive OEM, they spend millions and
Yeah,
millions of dollars every year to do what you're talking about, to slap their
right.
logo on everything, to do the white. They spend millions.
Yeah.
Your results, obviously, companies grow when they're successful. So what about your process? I know we can hear how it's a little bit different, but what about your process do you think is making it so successful for these machine shops?
We focus a lot on the personality and the humans behind behind the shop, because uh the other reason that the marketing sucks so much for them is that they're boring and generic, right? Every
Mhm.
machine shop website looks like the next door neighbor machine shop's website, and there's nothing to show what's different about them. So there's nothing to make them stand out, be memorable. They're not building trust with their audience. They're not, that know, like, and trust factor, right? Like,
Yeah.
manufacturing is very old school still, where it's a relationship game. You're building relationships, and someday maybe it'll pan out to a huge order, or like a recurring customer. That's not going to go away. I don't see that going away. What's different now is that you can do a lot of that legwork digitally if you're doing it
Mm.
right. If you're telling your story in a compelling way and showing up, authentically online, you close that gap, right? You shrink the amount of time that it takes to build that trust with that customer to get them to like you, right? You close that gap and
Yeah.
make it faster by telling your story online and, putting it out there in a digital format.
I'm on board already. I understand your vision,
Yeah.
but it's because I've seen it work. I made it work for myself 8 years ago when I was in direct sales. I was just making videos, and it was weird to me because success, like I tripled my sales, and it's not like I was getting even thousands of views. I wasn't getting that. I was
No.
getting in the hundreds, like 100 to 500 views sometimes less than that. But it was weird because I started creating all these new conversations. So what does success look like? Like why are you so committed to getting them marketing? What do you see happen for the clients that has you be committed to this? Because it's a hard job running a company like you do.
I see it as, and I talk about this in my talk. I see marketing as an opportunity to step into that leadership role in your community.
Mm.
In your shop, but also in the broader community, because, and that's so needed right now. Like
Hmm.
we are in this place where there's no faith in our leaders. We don't know who to turn to. There's just so much division. You judge people by their their politics and their religion and whatever, and we're not coming together as people, like in ways that we used to.
Yeah.
And I think that shops are a great format to for that. They're a great place to create those relationships and foster that growth and show people that they can work with their hands and make a living, and learn how to make something and fix something and be something more than just this, zombie that stares at a screen all day every day. I think we really need those strong leaders that are showing people the importance of human relationships and human connection, and learning from each other and growing with each other and learning new skills, and you know all of that. And I think that our approach to marketing is very much centered around that owner taking, becoming the face of the business, really.
Hmm.
I think the work that we do builds the foundation for them to do that. And
Yeah.
we help them articulate their message in a way that's going to land and help them see what is so valuable and amazing about them. Because people don't think they're anything special, right? Like they just are like, I'm just me. Like this is just my life and this is who I am. But really, like what you do is really exciting and important, and you need to tell that story and share it and show people what makes it cool and interesting. And so that's a big part of what we do, is really just, hold up a mirror to people and show them like this is you. Do you realize how cool you are and how awesome you are? Like
Yeah.
that's a big part of what
I
we do.
yeah. And I love that because you're right. So many people don't. It's why I started this podcast, because I just was meeting these interesting people like
Mhm.
yourself that I was like, I don't know if you really appreciate everything you give to the world, and I want to give you a platform to share.
Yeah.
Because so that resonates with my heart, right? Like that's
Yeah.
my motivating factor in life. It's why I do everything that I do. So I love that you're getting to do this for the machine shops and the fab shops, the equipment manufacturers that are out there, to give them that voice, because you're right, they're pillars in their community.
They
What
are.
is it? I'm terrible at stats, but someone was on the podcast a couple of weeks ago and they were like, it's like one manufacturing job creates 8 other jobs in the community or something ridiculous like that, because
Yeah.
you need hairdressers and you need all grocery stores and you need all these other supporting things to support manufacturing.
Yeah,
So it's just
totally.
that they are literally what makes communities possible. We've talked about kind of the results you're getting, which are amazing results, right? I love it. I love watching and cheering you on LinkedIn and other places, because I follow you on a few platforms now, I think. But
Yeah.
so I love that because it's the success you're getting for these people because you're committed to their journey.
Yeah.
Um,
One of my clients
so
was just named in Forbes.
really? Oh
Yeah.
my God, I missed that. That's huge. Like
Yeah.
I try
I
to
know. I
follow
think
everything. That's
we've been so busy that I think we haven't even like shared it. It was like 2 weeks ago and I haven't even said anything.
yeah. Well, and that's the and I love seeing you get busier and busier because it means more like machine shops, fab shops, all of those your customers. There's more of them. One,
Yeah.
because I'm happy that your company's growing, but because like you said, these are pillars that we need to grow. We need to attract more young people
Yeah.
into manufacturing.
Yes.
Like we've got a huge push to bring work back. I love it. I want to double the GDP. I'm on a crazy mission, and I know you're part of that. But it's like,
Yeah.
so we need this. We need more attention. I love, so the busier you get, the better a sign it is for me for the future of, you're in the U.S., I'm in Canada, but the bigger it is, the better the future for our continent as a
Yeah.
whole, including
Yeah.
Mexico. Like,
Yeah. For sure.
so,
All of that.
so let's talk. You talked in the beginning of the conversation that your process is a little bit different than a big firm. So let's say people are watching, and they're like, you know what, that's it. I want to learn more because I'm tired of being the only one that's not doing video. Because the more people that work with you, the more their competitions are already getting video done. So
Yeah.
what would it look like if someone wanted to reach out? And we'll put links down below, so don't worry about that. We can give them the right links. But what would
Yeah.
it even look like to start? Like if they were curious.
To start working with us.
Yeah, if they
Yeah.
wanted to actually connect.
Well, you know all about this because we did one a couple months
We
ago.
did. Yeah. I
But
still refer to that plan with like everything I do for the record. But anyway.
awesome, that's what I want. So we start with like any good machining job, you start with a good setup, right? So we it's called the setup. It's an hour and a half conversation. I just got off one before this, which is why I was so a little late. And yeah, we deep dive into your business, what makes you tick, what customers do you love working with, what customers do you hate working with, why, what's the big vision, what do you want to be known for, what do you not want to be known for, all the things. And then I summarize that into a brief that outlines what I see as your biggest opportunities to reach your goals, and really defining what the brand should be all about and what the
Mhm.
focus should be, and what's that laser, how do you get laser focused to get to the goals that you're looking for. And then
Yeah.
at the end, I will recommend one of our packages if they want us to build out the things that we explain, the
Mhm.
things that we're suggesting, or they can, like you have done so well, take the brief and run with it and do it on your own. So that's the first thing that's very different from
Mhm.
the way other agencies do it. A lot of them will have a discovery call, an hour long discovery call that results in a proposal that just says you need all these things and doesn't explain why or how. And
Yeah.
it's like all the same standard things that every big corporation
Yeah.
does for
Is
their
already
market.
spending millions on.
Yeah, that they're spending millions of dollars on, that you don't actually need. So, and then the other thing that's very different is that we focus on one customer at a time, and my
Mhm.
end goal is to empower my customers to market themselves.
Yeah.
I Most agencies are, on a retainer model where they are a partner with you and they're executing the work on an ongoing basis. We kind of want the opposite of that.
Mhm.
um, we've been we've been exploring a little bit of a hybrid in the last year, and for all the reasons that I thought that it wouldn't work, it's not working. So,
Mm.
I mean, it's been fine. It's been great. Our customers love
Yeah.
us. We love them. They're wonderful. Long term, I really want them to be more self sufficient.
So, and by self-sufficient, you mean have someone on their staff that can kind of take your plan and keep running with it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah. And I've been piloting this mastermind program with a few of my customers for the last 6 months.
Yeah.
It has been the most amazing experience. Like, it's been everything that I envisioned and more. Like, my
Mhm.
customers are being vulnerable and sharing things that are scary, and um things that are on their mind. They're helping each other out, they're collaborating on things, they're like
Mhm.
actually giving each other work in some cases.
Oh.
They're, some of them can be considered competitors, but they're working together on things, which is amazing. One guy's got uh you know, they've had some staffing issues lately and haven't been
Yeah.
able to execute a lot of the machining work. So they sent it over to Indiana to my other customer, and like
Oh, wow.
they're taking care of it now because they had a little bit of free spindle time. Like it's just so cool to see them collaborating in that way. And all I did was create a space for it, like it's
Yeah.
but it's so cool to see all of that happening. So I have plans to expand this program, and
Okay.
I'm really excited about it. It's probably going to take us, the better part of the next year to actually get it get it off the ground,
Yeah.
but it's something big that's coming. I'm really excited about it. So
That is well, because you already do such a great service, right? Like you said, I've been a client working with you before, so it's no secret there. But I love that you're doing the mastermind thing and that they're connecting, because that's the best case in a mastermind.
yeah,
New beautiful things happen when you're surrounded by people in similar work, on a similar journey, doing those hard things already. They're getting into marketing, which typically is boring and sucks, and you're showing them it doesn't have to, and they have that shared unified experience. Now they're sharing work, and that's just so cool.
it's so cool.
So they'll have to, we'll put something to get down connected with you so that you can let people know when you're getting ready to expand, because
Yeah,
it's just such a special community to be able to be a part of. So
yeah,
with everything there, right? You kind of let us in on your process, and you talked about the way that you do the setup to really empower people to understand why it's important
yeah,
and what's possible on the marketing side.
yeah.
Let's say people aren't ready to reach out, but do you have any quick tips, like 3 quick little self audits or something that these people could watch this episode and take on?
Yeah. Um, yeah, I
Or
think
one, maybe 3 is greedy, maybe one.
well, I mean, I can talk about my three-part framework is shape, sharpen, and shine. Um,
Okay.
so shaping is really all about dialing in that messaging and identifying what it is about you that's different, and getting really specific about who you want to work with. And
Hmm.
in the beginning when you're just starting out, you probably can't be as discerning with the customers that you take on, right? You're kind of just getting your feet wet and trying to get as much experience under your belt as you can. But as you get that experience, with every new customer, like just jot down like what are the things that you are enjoying about this customer and this job, what's working, what's not working, like every experience you have like that, really get super specific about how is this impacting your business? How is it working with your team? How, what's the relationship with the customer like? Where could it be better? All of that. Like the more you can get specific about what's working in your customer relationships, the better. Um, and when I say like what's different about you, I'm not just talking about the type of work that you can do, right? It's
Hmm.
your personality and your approach and your radical view on the way manufacturing should work, and even your values and your worldview and all of those things, like those, that's all part of your brand and who you are.
Mhm.
Excuse me. um So that's all shape. So shape, sharpen, and shine also is something, it's a continual process. It's always happening.
Yeah.
You're always doing all of these things. So it's not like a step one, step two, step three thing. It's like a we're going around in circles all the time on this.
Mhm.
So once you kind of have that shape down, then it's sharpening that message, sharpening your systems, sharpening your processes, sharpening the entire customer experience from the minute they from the first interaction they have with your brand to delivery and beyond. Like what does that whole customer journey look like, and how can you make it super exciting and interesting and um beneficial for both sides, right? Like how can you
Yeah.
make it a great experience for them and a great experience for your team, and think outside the box on that. Like look at other industries and see what are they doing to to give their customers those extra feels of like, wow, this is a really cool experience. Like I'm really glad that I went through this. How can
Yeah.
you stand out from that perspective? And then shine is about showing up and taking the lead, being being that community leader that we were talking about. It's what lights you up, what makes you excited about what you're doing and what you're putting out there into the world. And start sharing that story, start telling people about it, like, because
Yeah.
you're gonna just inspire more people that care, that are, or maybe afraid to speak up and talk about their thing.
I really, really like that. One, it's totally actionable. Look, if you're listening to Emily's just say that, like go back, replay it, write it down. Because like she said, you can just make this, you can put this on the wall in your office and just make this a daily thought like work through.
Yeah,
Um, anything you want because when you're shaping it, I love that you gave them, you can just start today. You don't even have to, you could just start right here, right now. You don't have to worry about past customers. Just start right now. You
yeah.
interacted with the customer. What do you like? What don't you like? What would you want more of? What you want less of?
Hmm.
Like, it's just so approachable. Go back and listen to it. I'm not going to rehash everything. Emily says it way better than I ever could. And just the shine side, though, this is something I've struggled with. So if you're listening or watching, because we're on video or audio right now, depending on what platform you're on, look, if you struggle with thinking you're worthy to shine, you're not alone, and you're definitely 1,000,000% worthy. I guarantee you.
Yeah.
The fact that you're listening to this, not because my podcast is awesome, not because Emily's awesome, although she is, but you're already putting in the work necessary to be a better human, which means you're in like the top 5% of the world
Right.
because you give a shit about being a better human.
Yes. 100%. Yes, that exactly.
Thank you.
Cut.
I
And
thought you might agree. Yeah, yeah. That's it. It's a
that's
wrap.
it. It's
No,
over. Mic drop.
yeah, but I love that, Emily. Thank you so much. I'm so glad that we got to actually that I got to have you on the podcast. I'm so glad you were here today. Thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me. This is awesome.
To you listening out there right now, if you made it this far and you haven't clicked like yet, can you do me a favor? Can you do that? At least consider it, please. And if you haven't subscribed yet, same thing. Right now, I average about 97% of you listeners are not subscribed, and it makes a big deal for other people to find the value you're finding in this podcast. If you click subscribe, it does so much, like stupid amounts, and I don't get it, but that's just the way the world works right now. Thank you again to Emily for being here. Thank you to you, the listener, for being here with us. And all of the links, everything we talked about, anything that's relevant, it's going to be down below. Emily's going to make sure we have that to all my machine shop friends out there. Super Spindle's turning and earning.
I made a special page just for them.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Oh, that is fantastic.